This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
In compliance, the value of anonymous reporting is undeniable. But with Ethico, anonymity doesn't mean a loss of connection. Our blinded, two-way communication fosters an environment of trust and confidentiality, encouraging open and honest dialogue. It's not just about receiving reports. It's about understanding the story behind each one, creating a culture of integrity and respect. Transform your approach to anonymous reporting with Ethico. Begin your journey at ethico.com/CPN, where you can book a demo, access an exclusive white paper by Tom Fox titled The ROI of Compliance, and utilize our free ROI calculator.
Today in the Compliance Tip of the Day, I would like to take up culture. Since at least October 2021, when Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco talked at length about the importance of corporate culture. She said that corporate culture matters. A corporate culture that fails to hold individuals accountable or fails to invest in compliance, or worse, thumbs its nose at compliance, leads to bad results. Let me be clear. A company that can fulfill its fiduciary duty to shareholders and maintain a commitment to compliance and lawfulness. In fact, companies serve their shareholders when they proactively put in place compliance functions and spend resources anticipating problems. They do so both by avoiding regulatory actions in the first place and receiving credit from the government. Conversely, we will ensure the absence of such programs inevitably proves a costly omission for companies who end up the focus of DOJ investigations. Now I'd like you to think about those words in the context of the latest real-time example of the utter failure of corporate culture. And that, of course, is Boeing and their recent trouble around the 737 MAX airplane. The incident in question involved a door which blew off the plane, an Alaska Airlines plane, in mid-flight at about 10,000 feet. We're fortunate there were no fatalities or other injuries because the door blew off next to a seat of a passenger. But what's come out since that time has just been utter failure of corporate culture at Boeing around safety. Now, if you're a manufacturer of airplanes, if you're a manufacturer of automobiles, if you're a manufacturer of anything in the transportation industry, safety has got to be the number one importance at your organization. But lots of reporting from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, as well as newspapers in Seattle report on just the terrible culture around safety at Boeing, where employees are literally afraid to raise their hand and bring up safety issues for fear of termination. That's an absolute failure of corporate culture. So when you think of corporate culture, don't just think of compliance. Obviously, that's important, but it's whatever the largest and most significant risk to your organization is. You have to have a culture wrapped around that. As you know, this month's sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, including this podcast, is Ethico. Have you ever wondered about the ROI of your compliance program or had concerns with presenting budget proposals to your CFO? Well, I partnered with Ethico to write a white paper on the ROI of compliance and how you can think through compliance as an investment strategy. Ethico has put together a ROI calculator for you. Check them out on the website. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.